if there is one move, one decision, one choice, one leap you've been delaying, postponing, avoiding, maybe for a few months, maybe for years, like I was doing with YouTube and starting YouTube, there's a good chance that it's going to be the thing that will change your life. It will point, it is pointing to the very thing that you're meant to be doing, you're meant to be building. Because I think the biggest hindrance is that fear will always tell you when you're stretching yourself outside of something that's familiar, will always tell you not do it, don't do it, will always try to stop you. It's the job of fear prevent you, keeping you safe. But there is fear so often what keeps us safe, it's actually keeping us small. And so many women I work with and I talk with and I meet, they want bigger lives. They want to make more money. They want to make more impact. They want to make a big contribution to this life. They want to create something meaningful, something big, something that is on their heart. And that is going to require taking the leap, making the uncomfortable decision, and learning to discern between the fear that's saying, this is dangerous, don't do it for good reasons, and the fear that is just saying, hey, you're becoming someone you've never been before. And that's scary. That is very scary. It's terrifying. Yesterday I posted a thread on Threads and I got so many comments from women saying, I was dreading the leap. The leap is terrifying. The leap is so daunting. And whether that leap is moving country, leaving your own country where you never felt at home, like me. I moved right after university and I never looked back because even if it was scary, every scary decision in my life, from moving country, leaving corporate, starting terrified, my own adventure, my own business adventure, and pivoting so many times and trying so many different platforms and finding what was resonating, what was clicking, what was working, and making so many mistakes and making so many pivots and learning my way through every scary decision led to a breakthrough, led to a lesson I needed to learn, led to zero regrets. I have zero regrets because everything I've done, I've chosen, brought me to this point where I feel clear. And so often we think before starting a YouTube channel, moving abroad, leaving your job, you need to have it all figured out. But in reality, the clarity comes from doing. The clarity comes as you go. And often fear will tell you exactly that. You need to become more clear. You're confused. You're stuck. But sometimes it's just that you've outgrown where you are. Where you are feels too small. And even if it feels tight, constricting, constraining, fear wants you to stay there because becoming someone who plays bigger, becoming more visible, being seen more, taking up more space for your nervous system, for all of us, nervous system is terrifying. So the job is one, discerning what kind of fear it is. Is a fear you're supposed to trust and follow, or is fear you're supposed to overcome and see it through? Because fear is not always a stop sign. Okay. Number two. So this is kind of a safety trap. And your job in every leap is whenever, and if you're ambitious, this is built in. Whenever you have outgrown where you are, you're ready to level up. You're gonna know because you feel the itch to start moving, to change things, to just spice things up. And of course, you're human, you're going to have fear, but you will know when it's time for a change. And the calling will get stronger and stronger and stronger. And if you don't listen, that will feel extremely frustrating because you're basically going against yourself, going against what you desire. If you listen, that will lead you to what you're meant to be building. Number two, again, fear as a compass. Fear can actually be, rather than a stop sign, your suggestion sign. Like when I feel fear that feels like excitement, I know that is pointing towards something that is going to feel expansive, is going to bring more expansion, whether it's in my own life, in my own experience, in my own embodiment, or in my own relationship, in my own business, in my own work, in my own creativity, in my own joy, in my own impact, in my own income, in my own capacity. Whenever fear comes with a side of excitement, that's a pretty good sign that it's pointing towards your next level up, your next expansion. And with fear needs to come a level of trust of you taking that leap of faith, of you deciding to go in that direction, even if you can't see clearly yet. Sometimes I remember a little side story. My experience ranges across so many different fields that at first, if you're multi-passionate, you will relate to this. At first, it felt chaotic. If it felt like I had a hunch they would fit together at some point, connecting the dots, but I couldn't see it. And I had this belief that before creating my offerings, before starting to work with women, before calling myself a coach, even if I had the certifications, even if I had the training, even if I had the experience, I had to figure out who exactly how I was helping and how I was helping them. And I was becoming obsessed, and this was keeping me stuck with finding my own method. Like I was obsessed with, okay, I have experience with Reiki and a more spiritual, yogic, energetic lens, energy healing lens. And then there's the embodiment piece, and then there's creativity. And we're having worked in creative direction for so many years. And there's a corporate experience, and there's teaching, and there's all of these different pieces together, and embodiment and somatics and nervous system. And like, how do I bring all of them together? And I was forcing myself and keeping myself stuck for so long because I was like, okay, what kind of product, digital product, ebook, course can I create that encompasses all of this? And that is absurd to be able to figure out before, like you need to get boots on the ground and start trying, and you will find your way by trying, by talking to people, by having coaching conversations, and by having those sessions and starting to know. I started noticing patterns. I started noticing similar patterns and similar things that were working and actually helping women get what they wanted and get unstuck and get to their next level. So your brain is marvelous. So your brain will eventually bring all the threads, weave all your different threads together, but you've got to give it the opportunity, the material, the lived experience to be able to do that, because from nothing or from just theory is impossible, or it would be extremely hard, and it would be mostly guesswork to craft your own thing, to understand whether that's like me finding your own method and weaving all your different experiences together, or whether that is maybe also like me, you're scouting for your next country where you want to go live. And how can you choose? And this is another side story, but for example, for me, it's going to be like spending a little bit of time in different countries and getting real feedback. You got to go there, you got to start doing the thing, and you will get the feedback you need. You will get the clarity you need. The interaction with the world, the outside world, will give you what your internal resources need to distill. I hope that makes sense. Because if you spend time in here, inside, in your own head, thinking, analyzing, there's like a paralysis of potential. Because alone, if your job is supporting people or it involves other people, most of them do are involving other people, you can't figure it out alone. You need the interaction. You need to do the scary thing and show up. Let yourself be seen and show up, even if you haven't figured it all out yet. Even if you're not sure if it's going to work out. Like for me, this YouTube channel, when I started, I had an assumption that, of course, it was going to be about coaching and supporting women that want to level up, want to build their bigger life, who are reinventing themselves, their careers, their work after 30, 40, 50. But also, I'm weaving in my own experience and I'm open to, hey, if there is a topic that is resonating with viewers and people who are watching, of course, I'm going to um, talk more about that and go deeper into that and, offer more content about whatever starts to resonating. Because when you're talking from your lived experience, when you're talking about something you're passionate about, you could be talking for hours. You have plenty of topics, and the reaction, the interaction, you doing the thing will give you the clarity and will become your compass, and it will point you toward the thing that is yours. You are meant to build. So all those voices, I'm not ready, I need more time, I need to figure it out better, more, just start doing the thing. As I was saying, whether that's moving country, whether that's leaving corporate, whether that's pivoting in your business, in your work, again, start, of course, be responsible, but don't let fear and those inside voices hold you back, because staying safe often is staying small. And if you're ambitious, you want something more meaningful, you want something bigger. And if you don't follow that, that's the worst sensation. It's that inner frustration because you're basically fighting against what you want and what you don't let yourself want and have. Because when you hold yourself back, you're basically saying, we're not ready for that, we're delaying that, not sure I can do this, and all those things. But there's a part in you that already is living it, already believes that you can have it, already believes that you're meant to be living that life, already believes that you're meant to build whatever it is that's on your heart. Last point, we often, whenever, we are about to take the leap, about to make a big change, step outside the comfort zone, we we tend to assess, we tend to obsess about what we might lose if we if we take the leap, if we make the change, if we pivot, if we leave the platforms. Like I left Instagram earlier this year because it wasn't resonating anymore. And perhaps going against like not following the conventional path or what every expert is saying, it's scary. And we tend to obsess about everything that might go wrong, everything that we are going to lose. But the reality is, whenever you are leveling up, whenever you have grown where you are and you allow yourself to step into what's next, of course, there's going to be something you gain, something you lose. Often you also lose old identities, and you are meant to be losing. You lose old beliefs, beliefs that have become outdated, old behaviors, old habits, old attitudes. And you are meant to be shedding those. And we tend to obsess about what we're losing, but we don't focus enough about what we attain, what we gain, what is on the other side of us doing the scary thing, and what is the cost of not doing it and playing small. So I hope this video reminds you of what's possible, reminds you that you are in charge, and that if something is calling you, even if you've been postponing, you've been delaying, there's a resistance about doing it, chances are that is the very thing you need to follow to make the change you want. And when I look back in my own life, every decision that transformed my life for the better was terrifying at first. It was scary. And often I was the only one believing in it, or like having a little bit of faith that kept me going forward, that kept me going, that kept me moving, even when clarity wasn't there, even when there wasn't support around, even when it wasn't logical, it felt reckless, even when fear was louder. Yeah. So don't ask, how do I stop being afraid? Just reframe fear as your suggestion sign, something that potentially might be pointing you towards the very thing you need, toward the life you've been dreaming about, desiring, and knowing is meant for you all along. I hope this landed. If something resonated, let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. And if you don't know, my name is Marina. I'm here on YouTube every day. I post daily, and today is day 38. And thank you for watching. Come along for the journey, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.